the first device in channel history to be awarded the disapproving Porg and then have it be rescinded. It's the Microsoft Surface Duo in April 2022. So we're going to go ahead, put the disapproving Porg over here, and we'll have moderately happy Pusheen Pizza in its place, because this device has gone from, in my mind anyway, I know a lot of people liked it, a lot of people purchased it, and they had it even in the lean times last year before Android 11, and they enjoyed it perfectly fine. But in my mind, it's gone from completely unusable to now where I found a way to manage. And at the end of the day, regardless of what I think of it and how I think it performs in certain areas, which we'll talk about, it is one of the 3 devices that I interact with on a daily basis. I'll tell you what for a little bit later as well. So Microsoft, even though they've redeemed themselves slightly, it still doesn't exonerate them for the entire year that they left people out in the wilderness. You went ahead, you invested in this, you believed in it, you put up your $1,500 or so, depending on the configuration that you got, and Microsoft basically left you in the desert for a year. They said, we'll see you later. You waited forever for Android 11. You waited forever for different bug fixes, whether it be the orientation issues and some of the typing issues and all the rest of it. But now, if you got it recently, if you didn't pay full price, if you got one of the sale prices, I do believe this year you're feeling a bit better about things, because you got a nice security patch in February. I believe there was one in March. I know I'm running the April security patch now. So as soon as the Surface Duo 2 came out, something woke up there. They said, hey, wait, we actually have to support these devices. So I give them credit, because they could have easily, like Nokia, written off the old devices and said, you know what, we're going to start supporting them going forward. Right? You can trust us now. Don't worry about those old devices. Buy a new one. It's okay. You can trust us now. We'll support them going forward. They went back and supported the Microsoft Surface Duo for all those people who loved it and were waiting for different things to improve. Runs smoothly. I got to tell you, it had a lot of issues ironed out. I really like the change with Android 11. We're going to talk about email in a moment, but I really love the changes with Android 11, especially when you're dealing with the pull-down tab, the notification shade, and all the rest of it, how it's perfectly legible now and usable. And the overall, it's just smooth and snappy. It runs well. The 855 is still plenty viable. We don't use half of it. We talk about it all the time. We don't use half of the power in these things, so it doesn't bother me that we're running a Snapdragon 855 in this right now. It's still perfectly fine. The displays are absolutely gorgeous. They're nice, big, and bright. And that's one of the things. Really sharp displays, really quality panels, which you got to give Microsoft credit for as well. And the one thing that bugged me, absolutely drove me nuts on Android 10, was all the problems that they had with the orientations. Just not able to figure it out. If it worked 40% of the time, it was being generous. Now, you could get it closer to, 90% of the time. It recognizes that I want to be on the one screen. It lets me be on the one screen. I could kind of fiddle the phone in my hand, and it doesn't activate the back screen or flip back and forth, so it's able to do what it's supposed to do for most of the orientations. Like I said, it works about 90% of the time now, which is a heck of a lot better than it was on Android 10, now in Android 11, which is nice. And it's not perfect, and I know you're going to, all these people, I can hear it already. No device is perfect. Yeah, hold on, cowboy. I understand. No device is perfect. But this device, I think even the people who love it can agree. It's a step above the average no phone is perfect. It's a step more severe than it's not crazy, but it's a step more severe than just the hiccups here and there that every device is going to have. There's a few more things that you notice when you're just going through the everyday menus, when we're typing, which we'll talk about in a moment, on the Surface Duo. They give you a little pause and kind of grate on you a little bit, but if you can get beyond that, you actually do get a pretty decent experience. So I, at first, labeled this as a purely companion device, and part of me still believes that. If you can have another device like an iPhone, like an Android, even a simple one, you can get one of those simple flip phones that you handle for calls and stuff like that, and then have this as well for everything else, I think you're going to be better served. But if you wanted to go with these as a daily driver, you absolutely could. And I think you got to treat it like one of those old school pagers. Remember the first kind of two-way pagers that they then added cell phone functionality to? And we talked a lot about the Palm Pilots, how they had those kind of cell phone things, the modules that you could put on the back of them, make your Palm a cell phone. That's how you have to treat this. But instead of the wired connection basically going to earbuds, you can put in some Bluetooth earbuds to handle calls. But then I think an absolutely mandatory accessory is some sort of smartwatch. And if you don't want to do smart, if you're like me, if you like real watches, great segue, by the way, LongIslandWatch.com, link in the description, pick up one of these. If you don't want to do that, then get a Fitbit or something on your offhand so you can have some way of seeing the notifications that come in here so you know which ones to ignore and you know which ones you have to go ahead and open up the device for, unfold it, pull it out of your pocket. But if you can eliminate a lot of the nonsense opens where you just have your smart device here, you say, okay, so-and-so's calling, click it, and you got your earbuds and you can go ahead and do those phone calls and carry that out that way. I think you're going to be better served and you can get away with this more if it could stay in that messenger bag or stay in your pocket a little bit more instead of having to pull out for everything. So, wear and tear. I have not yet had the problem that a lot of people have on the charging port there, how it cracks. Now, you can see how that's possible. It's plastic, and it is incredibly thin when you get in there. That is just a little bit of plastic around that charging port because the device, each side of the device, is incredibly thin. It's nice. The engineering is good, but that's certainly a weakness point. So you're going to want to make sure that when you're charging it at night, there's no pull or tug on there whatsoever. Make sure you're very secure. You're lined up, putting in your USB-C charger, and when you pull it back out, do so gently. Don't pull it by the wire. Make sure you have the little knob at the end there that you're pulling it out by, and you'll have no issues there. So that's pretty good. As far as the frame with the plastic, people have bent this. And that's what I'm saying. We learned to be more careful with our Surface Duos, but we did that off the backs of others. We got this information because other people early on, the early adopters had to suffer. They paid their $1,500 and they were bending their devices left and right. Because you put it in a back pocket and you sit on this because of the plastic frame, even though the hinge is incredibly durable and secure, you're going to bend the device. And a lot of people did that. So as frustrating as that is, we go ahead and we get to learn off the backs of others and know just to be a little bit extra careful with that. But otherwise, the durability and the hinge and the engineering, the hardware is phenomenal. You're not going to get a better device in terms of feeling the hand. It's just the weight is great, the balance, the hinge is so sturdy. It just, the both sides, the thinness of the panel, just a great feel in the hand. So you're going to be not for any loss there, but do know that there are those couple things, those couple weaknesses that you have to watch out for. All right. My huge problem, the one that I flipped out at, was the keyboard. And rightfully so. It stunk. It's still not the best experience you're going to get because a lot of that is the digitizer and stuff like that. So I'm going to try to go into settings here and see what we got pulled up. The only good thing is that with Microsoft SwiftKey, there are some adjustments that you can make. There are a lot of options that they give you with that. And one of the ones that I tried that I felt helped me the most was going in and messing with the sound and vibration. All right. So you go ahead and you hit that. And I turned all vibrations off. You can mess with this. You can have the Android default vibration there. You can have key press vibration. I did this as well. So I turned the Android default off. I went ahead and I put it on the custom key press vibration. I put it all the way down to 10 milliseconds. And then I said, you know what? I'm just going to turn the whole thing off. And to me, that's worked the best. It's been great-ish. You still miss things. It still doesn't pick up every single key press. But I think the bigger problem that I had was the disconnect between the vibration, because there was a delay there, hitting the key and then hitting the next key. I think that jammed up the system more times than not. And when I've turned it off, it might be placebo, I don't know. But when I've turned this off, I've noticed less missed key presses, even though, and I could fly along a little bit better to make this to where not only can I view emails, but I can actually type some out. And I've been responding to comments on here the last couple days on this guy as well, and it's been going fairly well. There's still the typos, there's still the missed keys, but it's been good enough to where you could get away with this device as your only daily driver. I'm going to pull up the mail thing because I tell you, if you're not using this for email, you're missing out. You could have BlackBerry Inbox, BlackBerry Hub on one side. You could have whatever else you want to have on the other side. You pull up Instagram. You're all set to go. It's just an overall fantastic experience. And if you're a BlackBerry user, there's a lot of BlackBerry fans on this channel. That's the closest experience I've had with email to my BlackBerry Passport. Absolutely. It's been phenomenal as the replacement to my BlackBerry Passport. My inbox stays clean. You get a nice big wide display that you could view the entire email. There's no wraparound or any of that stuff. If you got a document that comes in an email, you could see the entire thing. It's just a pleasant experience for email, one of the best experiences you're going to have on a mobile device because of that wide display. You don't get that anymore. That's why we love the Passport. I'm telling you, it's why you'll love one of these, especially you could pick it up. Now, the price has gone up a little bit. I don't know if that's because of the shortage, the supply chains, all the stuff that's going on in the world. That could be as well. But it might just be that they've actually started to support this thing again. Demand has gone up. I think they're about $440 now. They were flirting with sub 400. But I'll include the link. Amazon, you can get brand new for that, which is great. I got mine brand new, I think, for 400. I think you can get it for a touch more than that. You could still get it. This, at the end of the day, reminds me of, and I was thinking about it yesterday because I was using that Palm 5 that we unboxed a bunch yesterday, and it reminded me of that. Kind of a PDA for 2022, but has some cell phone functionality there that you could use it for, and you could get away with if you could. But I like that. It was kind of a 90s technology thing. And once I figured this out in my head, once I wrapped my brain around exactly what you're supposed to be doing with this, and you do have to admit to some faults to it, and you do have to learn to work around them and kind of retrain your brain to not be bugged by a lot of the different quirks that happen with this device. But once you do that, if you could get around that and get the value out of it that there is in something like this, you can absolutely daily drive it and absolutely have a good time with it. And to me, still no-brainer companion device. And the improvements that they make, I hope that Microsoft keeps working on it. They've made typing better. They've made the orientations better. They've made the whole UI experience that much better. It's great. The screens were already fantastic. You know, I got to give it a recommendation. I got to give it tell you to give it a shot. If you're a fan of tech, right? You're not just looking for a phone for the sake of a phone. If you're a fan of tech, you might want to have one of these in your pocket. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve Lucius day.